To defy the odds, you have to risk everything and take chances. At Old Nation Brewing Company, we did just that. From an unknown startup brewery to standing alongside national craft brands in just under a decade, we remain one of the last of the large, independently owned breweries in Michigan. Our beer is respectfully brewed using only the highest quality ingredients, and we don't cut corners. With the times changing for everyone, one thing that stays the same is Old Nation's respect for great beer and the people who love it. We're growing in cans produced and fans made. When you taste our beer, you'll know why.
I got to tell you, this is a very special occasion. So a couple of weeks ago, you remember the now famous Kenny Kott hot dog roller incident. Mm-hmm. TJ was blown away by the existence that Kenny owned a hot dog roller. Well,
no, blown away by the location.
Right, his living room, which now we have confirmed there is. I don't know how he lives there, being that this thing has stunk up the whole office.
Oh, yeah, I smelled it coming right through the door.
100%. Yeah. So, with the Super Bowl this weekend, with TJ's last appearance, we wanted to have a throwdown. These are two gentlemen that, well, they're big into hot dogs. And we just said, okay, Kenny, now's your time, champ. Bring the roller to the office. I gave Kenny a per diem to purchase the appropriate things, and it's Kenny versus TJ by the time TJ leaves after Who Said It. Who can eat more hot dogs? Now, I want to say, TJ showed fear. He was afraid that Kenny was going to devastate him in this contest.
That's false.
You said he's going to eat 12 of them.
I said I have to go to a daddy-daughter dance tonight, and I don't want 11 hot dogs in my stomach.
You can't eat 11.
That's not fear. That's concern about
your blazer.
My plans that I have tonight and my suit jacket that I got to fit into.
FanDuel has listed you vomiting at daddy-daughter tonight at plus 260, so it's very exciting. Come on.
I'm not afraid of Ken. No, there's no chance. Like, if I had nothing to do tonight and I could throw down probably a dozen.
Okay, but hold on.
He's not even getting close to that.
You got to eat more than him. That's all we're asking.
See?
You got to beat him in his own game. He's been very confident.
He's already a couple bites in. I didn't know he got started already.
The competitive nature of athletes kicks in.
Listen,
he is not going to lose.
I don't know if I still have the record, but there used to be a hot dog place. I think it was like Hippo's Hot Dog out on the Royal Oak. I think I ate like 9 Chicago-style dogs once.
Oh, jeez.
And those were nasty, too, like with the peppers and tomatoes and pickles.
Wait, did Kenny put the salsa on your plate?
No. we're waiting for it to cool down.
Okay. Another reference from a couple weeks ago. Now, listen.
It's boiling. We gotta
all
let it cool.
condiments are available. You have chosen plain.
Yeah.
That's the strategy going through this hour.
Yeah. Can I get a cup of water too? Or are we doing this official?
Would you like a
bun?
Would you like a pop? Would you like water? What can we get?
That's a little too heavy. I was kind of thinking about like a cup of water to dip the bun into.
Yeah, but you're not going to eat that many. What are you, Kobayashi?
I'm going to eat more than Kenny.
I
don't know what he's capable of.
Well,
it's like one of his major food groups.
He's done. Kenny won. You haven't taken your first bite. And the clock's ticking. So, also, gentlemen, you have to factor in conversation as a part of this. We can't just watch you eat hot dogs.
That's why he wants the water. I'm like, man, TJ's about to get serious over here.
This is not as bad, though, as that spicy chicken wing thing we did.
Oh, my dear God.
5 years ago.
That was amazing.
Oh, my God. Were you not here yet, Rico?
He wasn't.
He had one of the guys mix up this crazy concoction, how spicy he could make it. And we were doing, I think it was me and Sully.
It was.
And we tried the sauce. And right before Mike was like, hey, even if it's not that spicy, just play it up for the air. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'll just have to pretend.
No.
That burned for 3 days.
Really? TJ had a problem.
It was terrible.
Yeah, Will also tried it.
The Birchie kid did try it.
He was like, oh, this is nothing. He had 2 or 3 of them, and then he just sat out there in misery after the show was off.
So basically, it was a medium sauce.
No, it was a spot. I can't imagine anything getting spicier than that.
It was repugnant. I smelling it 6 feet away, you would cough.
Legit hell.
Okay, so
These
while
buns
TJ...
are kind of I don't like the dog-to-bun ratio.
Kenny?
There's way too much bun.
What? Oh, jeez. Okay.
What'd he say?
Wah. All right. Game on.
It's a bread eating contest. Look at this. The hot dog's 10%.
I want to start with this while you're getting to work on your first hot dog. Also, tell Evan there's going to need to be more hot dogs on the roller. You two are about to get serious.
Those have already been replaced.
Excellent work. Set. So I wanted to ask about, Amon Ra made a comment about Myles Garrett that I thought was pretty common sense, which was look, if you add him to RD line, you don't need corners. But
Yeah, he literally said that.
did you see what Aiden said? And I wanted your view because Rico and I were surprised. Meaning, great players, when they're asked about, hey, would you like to have this great player? Never heard a guy say no. Here's what
He
Aiden
said no?
Well,
Oh, I didn't see this.
hear me out.
Okay.
Everyone's been asking me about that. I don't know. I don't think you can't have that many guys on the D line. I don't know, but I think it's very unlikely. Close quote.
You can't have that, like you can't have enough?
No, you can't have that many dudes on the D line.
What, like
Basically
like it wouldn't
saying
be fair to have that many
there's
guys?
only one football is what it sounds like. And he goes,
There's only so many people you can have on a D line.
and he said, I think it's very unlikely. Like, generally speaking, wouldn't you just say, hey, man, that's Brad's department, but if you're asking me, hey, man, would love to have him. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. Full stop, game on, move on.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
I mean, I don't disagree with him that it's probably unlikely. I mean, it's
Why
out
do
of
you
the,
say that? Take us through.
Because of what it's going to cost. I mean, we've seen Brad, like the last couple years, take a couple risks, right? With Carlton Davis trade. Hey, we got a hole to fill.
A third, right?
Myles Garrett to me would be like a luxury, not necessarily a massive need.
Who's playing opposite Aiden?
Well, that's a good question. I mean,
Myles Garrett, that's who.
I would love to have Myles Garrett. There's
give up
32 teams. I mean, Cleveland doesn't want to give him
No,
up, right?
but hold on. Time out. He wants to play for a winner.
Yeah.
Now we're down to about 6 teams because you know what else? They ain't trading him in the AFC.
Yeah.
There's no way. So here, I look at it and look, we talked about this. No one knows the true cost. But if we go on what's been put out there so far by different reporters, websites, whatever, a 1, a 2, Hendon Hooker. You doing it?
In a heartbeat.
Okay. So now return to the Aiden thing.
In a heartbeat, yeah.
Compare what Aiden said to Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs of the Packers is like, look, I got love for all our guys, but we need a dog. We need a number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, well, that's where you get some, and I know Aiden's still young, but that's where you get some veteran, like, PR, let's do it the right way. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus on my team, right? Because I've been through it before where you will get asked about, hey, this guy's a free agent. This guy, you guys have been linked to this guy. And if you go out there and say, oh, hell yeah, like we need this guy, that's kind of sending a bad message to the other guys in the team, right? So if you're going to go out there, I think, and I don't know for sure, but part of you, maybe if you're Aiden, is like, I don't want to make the other guys in my D-line room feel like they're not good enough or they're not wanted.
See,
right?
I'm looking at...
But that's where you could say, hey, if it happens, yeah,
TJ.
obviously he's a great player, but you know what I mean? There's a part of you as a player
Yes.
that's like, hey, if
Amon-Ra did that.
If we-
Amon-Ra, when they asked him, hey, yeah, we want to get him here, and then they said, well, who you trading? And he left that alone.
Right,
He left
exactly.
that alone,
Yeah.
but he was just like, you got to get him here. You bring him here. We don't need corners anymore.
Yeah.
He wouldn't answer the fact of who you're going to trade because he knows at that point
Right,
you're
you're
throwing
gonna
somebody
make
under the bus.
yeah, exactly.
But to sit there and be like, yeah, we basically we're good
you
enough.
don't need him. Yeah, which is, I mean, like I said, that's part of going back to, I don't want my guys
is it to
in
the
that group
point-
to feel like,
TJ, is
You know,
it
they're not
overly
good enough.
simplistic of just thinking, you know what, maybe he's thinking, look, my contract's coming up. I don't need him here. I don't need him stealing some of the shine from me.
well, I think
I'm trying to get paid.
I mean, I'm not trying to be out of bounds here, but I think with certain players, quarterbacks, edge rushers, corners, certainly there comes like a bit of an ego thing, right? So, you take pride in being the lead dog, right? You're like, hey, man, this is my team. This is my D-line. But that shouldn't prevent you from wanting to play with another, Hall of Fame type guy. Like I was always under the impression, like, hey, more talent we can bring in, it's going to raise
That's
competition,
it.
And if
I've
you're going to be the
never
odd man
heard a
out, like it
great
just is what
player
it is.
say no to a great player. And again, the easiest way out for Aiden, guys, that's Brad's department. But Myles Garrett's a Hall of Fame player. I'd love to have him.
Yeah.
And you're
was
not
there
throwing
video? Was there video with that?
We do not have any video.
Because I was going to say maybe if you reading it and sometimes watching it, right?
I know.
You get two different senses.
And listen, I'm reading the words. The part I didn't understand is you can't have that many dudes on the D line. Stop. No
Well,
disrespect to John Kaminsky.
No, I know, and he's obviously players. That's player speak, right? That's coach talk. Hey, we love the guys we got here.
But at
us
no
on the
point-
outside, we watched the Washington game where I don't think anybody one-on-one on
no
the entire game.
one's going to
It's
mistake the
like,
Lions D-line this year for the purple people eaters of the
Yeah.
70s.
And look at Philly. Like every year, it seems like they load up on the D-line.
How
Look
about
at
my Giants that won the Super
Yeah,
Bowl? They had 8 D-linemen.
San Francisco was doing it, right? Like their third and fourth D ends.
TJ,
were
the
guys
other
that
thing
were,
is this. It's Miles
all
Garrett.
pros.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's
Yeah.
a 6-time All-Pro. He's a Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Yeah,
they didn't ask him, do you want Crackhead Bob on your team?
Yeah, I mean, he's a top 5, probably top 3 player in the league.
He's a monster.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I obviously can't speak on Aiden's intentions there, but I do know that there is some player speak sometimes that's like, hey, if it works out, obviously we'd love to have the guy. But first of all, let's kind of temper expectations, right? And second of all, I don't want my guys in that building, in my position group, feeling like, oh, Aiden's going out here saying we need to trade for somebody else. What does that mean about me, right? I don't know what his intentions are, but
It's weird, TJ.
I think the weird part is just, I think we're on the same page. Like, you don't have that many dudes on the D line. You know what I mean?
Right,
Aleem obviously was.
I count
the
2,
dog.
and I'll be nice. I count 2.5. Bob Muhammad's not bad.
And by the
Yeah.
Aquadine.
He had some moments.
But
Yeah, he
you,
had some moments.
oh my God.
Oh, he had some moments. Yeah,
You were his
for a role
PR
player.
rep.
No, yeah, for a role player, he was really nice. But do I want?
What
is he
you
going to be a
found
guy
out
playing
at the end of
60
the year?
snaps a game? Like
Poor Almondine.
At the end of the year, you found out you didn't have enough D linemen.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
you did.
And, obviously when you're missing Aleem and Hutch, makes everybody else's play better
that's
because
the way I look at it.
when you're missing those guys, we didn't have anybody else
If
that
I'm
could do
Aiden
anything,
and I
right?
had Miles Garrett and I know Aleem's coming back, you know what I'm looking at? 20 sacks. I'm looking at $35
don't
million
think everybody.
a year and the biggest deal in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
Instead, I got to read this. Well, listen, you can't. Hey, they asked Fred Werner. Here's the difference. They asked Fred Werner. First of all, he popped a boner. And then second of all, he goes, oh, yeah, we're going to be chopping it up. Full court press. I want him.
Yeah.
He wasn't worried about Almondine Muhammad. He goes, it's Miles effing Garrett.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm.
Hey, Garcon, hot dog, please.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Time for TJ.
And Aiden doesn't seem to be the type of kid that's like ego driven, right? But you do kind of hear that. And I can't help but to think like, hey, this is kind of my show, right? This is my defense. This is my D line. Which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
TJ getting spicy.
But also the players too is like, you know what? You hear rumors all the time. You hear, oh, you're linked to this player, this free agent. I've fallen into the trap before of getting too excited and getting overly just enthusiastic about it and maybe talking about it where I shouldn't have, because then it doesn't work out and you're like, oh man, like this guy's probably going to be a little pissed at me, right? Like I maybe just kind of hurt a relationship, right? But by speaking too soon. So maybe his point was just, hey, I don't know if it's going to happen, unlikely, but hey, if it does happen, right?
All right.
Then I can speak about excitement and speak about optimism and
We're going to get you another hot
loving
dog.
playing with a guy like
And
that.
we're going to talk Super Bowl because you said something and I think you expressed a feeling that all of America's feeling. We're going to do that next. We need.
Can I get a hot dog?
We're
How long does
working.
these take?
Excuse me, we're doing live radio.
It's been 15 minutes.
Get him another one, please. Get him 2. 2 for 1, and then throw more on this thing. Get it moving. TJ,
I mean,
hungry.
if we're having one every 15 minutes, Kenny.